Hello, messes. How are we today? Welcome back to She's Speaking. I'm ripping myself away from Secret Lives of Mormon Wives Season 2. I'm almost done with episode 4. Don't anyone spoil it for me. I'm trying so hard to avoid spoilers. I know it literally just dropped. I think it dropped at midnight on Hulu, but they're all there. Thank God they aren't going to do a week-to-week thing. Thank God. But now I'm scared because every time I go online, I'm expecting someone to have already seen the whole thing and dropping all kinds of bombs. But it's great. It's great. But we have to talk about the Valley today. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about the Valley. Make sure you're subscribed to the show, following along. And if you're watching on YouTube, leave a like, a little comment, say hi. Let's do it. Dude, Jesse drinking with the 8:50 a.m. timestamp it sent shivers down my body. I was like, oh no, not good. Not a good, 8:50, that's so early. And it's like, I've been on trips with people where we're all on the same page. You know, like if I'm on a trip with someone and it's like we both are like, we need to have a drink of alcohol because we're so hungover, we need a hair of the dog, done that. But he's doing it by himself. And I don't believe him for a second when he said to Luke and Kristen, I cleaned up in here and it's already a mess. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Who made the mess? That is clearly from the day before. Okay, get out of here. Zach rolled over on his chips and dip, and I've never related to someone more because, yeah. I even know that dip. I'm like, I've bought that dip. I know exactly that French onion dip. It's bomb. Often when I'm watching a show, I start to crave what they're eating on the show. I don't know if I necessarily craved that onion dip because I only know that, never mind. I'm talking way too much about onion dip. I'm moving on. Jax texted. I'm having a hard time talking today. Text Brittany about his bipolar diagnosis. Now, there's a lot of things that are said about this bipolar diagnosis. Like in the after show, Brittany claims that Jax received this diagnosis before and wouldn't take the medication. I'm not ever going to believe Jax when it comes to any story because it's Jax. But his version is that, no, it was just depression and the Lexapro. Now, he has changed the length of time he took that medication quite a bit. For a minute, he's like, I took it. I was taking it. And then when I got to the facility and they were like, no, you shouldn't be taking that stuff. It's making it worse. Then I think he says in this after show, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he contradicted himself within the same after show. But he said something like, I was taking it and then I stopped. I took it for a month maybe, and then 2 weeks, and then I stopped, and then that's when things got bad, and that's when I came in here. So, you know, there's nothing, I can't. I'm still going with, I don't believe he's telling the doctors accurate stories, and they're just coming up with a diagnosis based on what he says, and it's like, that's none of what he told them is accurate to what's going on. So, you know what? I feel like they should just talk to other people in his life. Be like, you know what? We're actually going to interview your family and friends, and then we're going to make a diagnosis. Actually, you know what? That's not a bad idea. If you're dealing with someone who's super toxic, like I think about this often with therapists. You know, therapists only get the version you tell them. And so I would think, I had a fight with a friend one time who was in therapy, and I was like, you know, she's going to go and tell her therapist her version of what happened, and it's not even true. And so Jax is in there, you know, bullshitting, and I feel like, you know, they can even watch the show. Maybe there's an option for you. I mean, I know ethically and morally that would be wrong because it's a show, it's edited, whatever. But, you know, I'm just saying, these bipolar diagnoses, they just don't make any sense to me. And it makes sense if he is saying like the stuff that Jax says, you know, like I'll be fine. And then just suddenly I'm just like, not okay. And like, I just, you know, I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And I just like, I can't, he sounds manic, but like, it's not his reality. Right. And Zach points out a good point that first of all, he's like, he could be lying. So we're going to go with that. But if he's not, he has to take medication then. He has to. So But Jesse is already drunk, of course. He's literally had, according to them, 2 bottles of Prosecco. Oh my God. Oh, I want to throw up. And on the party bus, he gets on top of, I think it's Luke and Kristen and Zach, but his face is like in Zach's lap. Like, this is sexual harassment, if you ask me. Like, Zach did not consent. Zach even was like, do you see where your head is? And he's like, whatever, just, so hello, let's focus on that a little bit. No, don't care. All right, that's fine. Then he starts doing his creepy little leprechaun dancing where it's so creepy. And Jason says it perfectly in his confessional. He's like, I don't know if he's going to kiss me or punch me in the face. That is exactly the energy Jesse has on the party bus, where you're like, you're dancing like you're trying to be funny, sexy, but your energy is like you could punch or slap someone at any minute. And so I don't know how to feel either. Like, if this is just supposed to be you having fun, it doesn't feel fun. It feels dangerous. It feels unsafe. Kristen's ignoring him completely on her phone. She's just pretending not to even look up. Anyway, moving on. The bus starts smoking. Why is Luke the expert on this situation? The guy who drives the bus is like, I have no idea. And Luke is over there telling him what to do. This just, slow down. You're going to have to put this on. I don't know. I kind of was like, I get it now. Kristen, I'm like, okay, so you weren't kidding. It is a little bit of a turn on when a man can actually do something like that. So, okay, fair. Meanwhile, Jesse, because he doesn't even know what's going on, he's like, we'll just walk. We'll walk. It's like 20 plus miles. He's in hitchhiking, about to get hit by a car. What a blast. What a hoot. All right, they get to Happy Canyon and Danny arrives and he starts catching up. And they give us a drinking time lapse. And I believe the time frame is like 5 minutes. And it's like chug, chug, chug. Nia at one point goes, okay, you're caught up. And he just ignores her. Now, they're weird about the drinking. They're weird. Danny is defiant in the way he drinks. And Nia is trying to keep the peace and not make it obvious. But if your wife is saying you're caught up, you stop. You don't keep going. There's something weird here. For sure, there's something weird. And on Watch What Happens Live, it was a really weird answer. Danny's asked what his thoughts were about Brittany saying they don't put it all out there and they're not honest. He's like, well, yeah, there's some things that we choose to deal with behind closed doors. We don't embarrass each other, or we have respect for each other. I'm like, cute, that's fine. But we are all seeing your drinking. And we are seeing that Nia is trying to regulate it and keep you protected, but it's like you're leaving her when your partner gets drunk like this. We saw it last season. You get abandoned as the partner because you're like, okay, now I can't talk to you. You're not going to listen to me. You're going to be a mess, and then tomorrow you may not remember, and it's gross. And they're weird about it. They are. I think it's funny that Kristen is like not at all fazed by Danny sneaking alcohol. And her reason for not being weirded out by it, I believe this is in the after show, was that she would go to Brittany's house and be drinking and then like go to the freezer and like do a shot of vodka and like put it back and whatever. And I'm like, that's crazy. So it makes sense that Kristen is like, I'm cool with it. I'm not saying I'm on Janet's side. Okay, let's please not get that twisted. It's just that's what it is. They are being very weird about it. And Danny isn't really admitting that he when he talks about why he was like sneaking it around. I think it's in the after show. He's like, yeah, I was trying to not let the cameras see me take a shot. Yeah, I was trying to do that. Like, what? Why? Because you knew you should be hiding it. And then, yeah, like I get that the man is tired. I fully get. They got 3 kids. It is exhausting. But Nia's not sleeping. The only reason you are passed out snoring is because you're drunk and you caught up way too fast. So, yeah, Danny, you should probably quit drinking. Honestly, if like that's the only issue that you have, super simple, cut it out. And if you can't cut it out, well, we know what to do from there. So come on. So yeah, and I don't want to say anything bad about Nia because I do think that she is truly a kind, sweet person. But this is a weird thing they got for sure. For sure, for sure. But anyway, Michelle gets a call. We're still at the vineyard. I know I kind of jumped all around. She gets a call from Isabella's nanny. I think when Jesse sees her take a phone call, something in him is like, she's not giving me enough attention. Because Jesse keeps saying in his confessionals, I just want, to have fun. Adults can put their differences aside. Like, that's all we have to do. Yet he's the one who keeps instigating these conversations that obviously should not be had when you are wasted, sir. But he's like, hey, he like slurs. He's like, can you and I talk for a second? And it's just a bad idea. I kind of wish Michelle had been like, not right now. We'll talk when we get back. Let's just try to get through the weekend. But I don't blame her. Fine. She sits down with him. You can see he's like, I'm not 100% sure what tactic I need to take here. I just need control right now. So he's like, I think it was a joke to wave the white flag when you arrived. But I think you and I need to have a serious, serious conversation. So what he wanted to say was, it was a joke and you wouldn't accept my funny joke. And like, you made me feel stupid by not accepting my cool bit with the white flags. That was that. But then he realized like, but you and I need to have a serious conversation. And then he goes, are you happy? I am, besides you. Okay, so if you're very, very happy, can you not be happy for me in my relationship? I did not see that coming. I was like, oh, what? Didn't you just tell Janet that you guys aren't together? What are you talking about? And you know why she's not happy with your relationship. That person is threatening to sue Michelle. Duh. But this is like, he's so manipulative, controlling, narcissistic, all the words. Michelle's like, I told you to go live your life, do whatever. And Jesse's trying to cut her off. And she goes, let me speak, and yells. And he gets the creepiest smirk on his face. He's just like, yeah, got her. I got her to crack. He's like, okay, that's what my goal was here. That's what it was. And Michelle goes, I thought you were coming here to try and apologize. Sorry, the way she says this is so weird. She goes, look at you. You're a disaster. She's tough. As someone with ADD, it's tough to listen to her talk because she's so slow. I'm like, I need you to get it out faster, please. She goes, you're a disaster. And then he goes, well, you're a hooker, so it's fine. Michelle, now she's up. I am the mother of your child. And then she goes, now she's just screaming out all of the dirty laundry. He goes, you're a loser. You spent all of our money. And now I would like to know usually the cameras are being manned by a person. Like the cameras are like on the camera guy because he can run with it. But it's like they wouldn't. Like, here's the table that they were all sitting at as a group. And then here's where Michelle and Jesse had their convo. And the camera wouldn't like show us the space in between because they were just like showing them going like, hey, Michelle, come back over here. Go get her. But then only then showing Michelle. I'm like, show us what's happening. How far apart are they? Did someone like leave the camera in place and they're like running back to get it? Because it was so weird that I couldn't see how far apart they were. Does anyone else find that funny? I don't know. But okay, so then Janet and Brittany go over to try to calm her down. And then Luke comes up and he goes, dude, what happened? And Jesse goes, I think it's going well. Luke goes, you think it's going well? He's like, what? Michelle says, she's like, our client friend sent Isabella birthday money. And I think she's saying that Jesse just took it and like didn't spend it on Isabella. I'm like, is that what you're saying? Because also she has said he doesn't pay her child support or anything like that. So like, But she goes, people deposit money to you. I have proof. She goes, if anyone should be an escort, it's him. Why is a gay guy sending you money? What? What? Amazing. Amazing. Zach in his confessional goes, girl, we don't want him. We don't want him. God, this is a long time ago, guys. So remember the times. This is like the 90s, probably. Tom Cruise, for so long, it's been rumored that he's in the closet. But there was this joke for a while among the straights and the gays that was like, we wanted him. No, we want him. Like the gays were like, give him to us. And the straights were like, he's ours. And then sometimes when there's the rumors, the gays are like, you can have him. We don't want him. No, we don't own him. God, that was a long time ago, isn't it? So Janet and Britt pull Michelle away, but then Britt turns around, and I just love the way she did this. She goes, Jesse, the fact that you just doubled down and called her a hooker, that's what you need to apologize for and make it clear to all your friends that you were lying. And Jesse tries. She tries. He's like, are you inserting yourself right now? And Janet's in the back like, yeah, she is. Okay. And Brittany's like, yeah, because she's my friend. And Jesse goes, of course it's a lie. Like, I'm an asshole for even saying that. And so Britt just goes, thank you. And she pulls Michelle away. But Jesse goes, no, we're having a conversation. And Britt just goes, nope. And Luke goes, less is more sometimes, man. Luke is having such like genuine responses to this insanity. All right, then they get back to the house. This is when Janet's in the pantry and Danny comes in and chugs from the bottle, which, yeah, chugging tequila from the bottle is sinister, nasty. Who does that? Ugh, oh my God. From the bottle. No. People ask me if I have any advice for those wanting to start a podcast. And the best advice I could give is to just do it. So much of this is learning as you go, learning by making mistakes, but also finding the right platforms and tools can be very helpful and save you a lot of time. One of those tools for me and for the show has been Shopify. Shopify has so many tools built in, and I guarantee they've thought of things you haven't even thought about. There's the design studio with hundreds of ready-to-use templates so you can build your online store and match your brand's style. Shopify has a ton of AI tools that help accelerate your content creation. They'll help you write product descriptions, page headlines. They'll even enhance your photography. And what about marketing? Shopify gets the word out like you have a marketing team behind you. Easily create email and social media campaigns wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. And what about managing inventory or international shipping or processing returns? Shopify has all of that. Turn those dreams into and give them the best shot at success with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/shespeaks. Go to shopify.com/shespeaks. Shopify.com/shespeaks. When I tell you I now have the chicest sneaker known to man, I'm talking about the Vionic Monarch sneaker. I got the one with the leopard print accent. There's also mesh detailing on the side. There's a perfect pop of black. These sneakers are so chic, I don't need them to be comfortable because pain is beauty. But that's the best part, is these are Vionic sneakers. And all Vionic shoes come with their VioMotion technology. Vionic began by revolutionizing medical orthotics, and they have engineered better performing shoes. Whenever I wear Vionic shoes, my knees hurt less, my ankles hurt less, my hips hurt less, and my feet don't really hurt at all, which I don't think I've ever experienced in life. I'm so mad I didn't know about Vionic shoes when I was still in the restaurant business. I now own the Uptown Willa, which is part sneaker, part moccasin, very streamlined. I have the Uptown Loafer, which is part loafer, part sneaker. And now I have the Monarch. And you know what? Vionic also makes slides, sandals, heels, platforms, boots. I'm tempted to try them out. Every Vionic shoe I currently own feels great, so I bet the heels would too. And I haven't met a heel I liked in decades. All right, so here's the deal. Go to VionicShoes.com and use code SheSpeaks at checkout. checkout because you will get 15% off your entire order when you log into your account, one-time use only. So VionicShoes.com, code she speaks, 15% off. Vionic shoes are wearable well-being for your feet. So Jesse, because he is so narcissistic, he tells production clearly, go get Michelle. I want to have a talk up here. And then he kind of is like, do you want to go outside and like have a real talk without the cameras, even though we can't do that without the cameras? I'm like, okay, whatever. But it's more of the same. Why aren't you happy for me in my relationship? I am in love with this person. Okay, thank you. But when Michelle says that Isabella is saying, I have a second mommy, I was like, what the fuck? Okay. Michelle's upset because Jesse's already involved this woman in their lives, but isn't she already involving Aaron in Isabella's life? But isn't she already involving Aaron in that way? Like, she's mentioned Aaron, Isabella loves Aaron. And so that I feel like has been unfair for Michelle to be like, I mean, the woman is threatening to sue her. So fair. That's fair. But also I think Michelle said, I can't remember if it was in an episode or on the after show, but she had said something about how like it was only a week after they'd split and Isabella was talking about how she caught daddy in bed with a new woman or another person or something like that. So he was doing this really early into the whole breakup. So I'm not trying to put it just on Michelle. But anyway, moving on. So Jesse goes, just be happy for me. And Michelle goes, you called me an escort. And he just ignores that and goes, she's spending 5 days a week with your daughter. Now, how is that supposed to make her feel better, Jesse? That's kind of more like yeah, exactly. Exactly. Michelle goes, you started dating her 5 months ago. And then drunk ass Jesse like forgets what they're even talking about. He's like, 5 months ago or 2 years ago? What? She's talking about your relationship, Jesse, but you're so drunk. Now you're like, the loops, they get in him where he's like back on that. She goes, I already told you, what more do you want from me? And he goes, I think you're a liar and a cheater. Now, these are examples of like Michelle going, when she's like, fine, think that because we're done. We're separated. Think anything you want of me. I don't care. I don't need to know that you don't like me because you liked to say this shit to me and hurt my feelings, but it's not going to happen anymore. Okay? My ex tried to do that. My ex tried to text me like a couple months after we had split and doing the same shit. Like, I think that you were dishonest, whatever he was saying. And I was just like, I don't care what you think anymore. That's the beauty of this. So thanks, Jesse. Think that all you want. In his confessional, Jesse says, Michelle is trying to create a narrative that I am the bad guy, and this is all my fault to deflect from the truth. Michelle cheated on me and then gave up on our marriage after she cheated. Now, it's come out, like, I'm surprised to hear this. I believe it's in a confessional at some point, that their friends, or maybe after show, their friends had a like intervention of sorts. I'm assuming before season 2 started filming and not before season 1. Because then, I guess in that intervention with this friend, Michelle said something about Jesse cheating. And she said, well, you were cheating, Michelle. And so then Michelle had to admit then that she had kissed someone. I'm a little confused about the timeline of when Jesse found out. Because it was decided that they would not bring it up. They would not discuss it on the show because then Isabella would eventually see it. But like the first thing he talks about is how she cheated. So I'm going to go with, I think I have the timeline right in that before they went into film season 2, I don't know exactly what this intervention was with the friends. But that is when Michelle told him about the cheating. So this is fresh on Jesse's mind. No wonder you're getting tortured with it, Michelle. Like, no wonder you're getting tortured with it. And that's why he's like, do you not want to admit it? And she's like, yes, I kissed someone. And so obviously he knew this already, but I think she can tell like he wants this for the cameras. And so she says, I kissed someone. And he goes, did you fuck? She goes, you're literally disgusting. He says, you're the only lying, cheating whore I know. So Michelle starts walking out and she's like, I came to you to check on your well being. I made a big mistake. I'm kind of doing a Whitney voice. That's not quite right. And then he's like, did you cheat or not? So Michelle throws her drink at him, which is amazing, by the way. Oh, so fun. And he goes, well, then I guess you answered that question. And then she's down this like halfway on the stairs. She goes, what do I have to do to make you stop? Do you want me to scream to everybody? Everybody, my husband refused to hug me and kiss me and tell me I'm pretty. My husband spent all of our money. And then it's like silent. And then they cut over to Zach and he goes, did she kill him? I'm sorry, Zach stole the show for me in this episode in every way. In every way. All right. Dinner time. As we know, Danny is passed out and snoring. Coming into this dinner, though, Janet had told Jasmine about Danny sneaking the tequila. So Jasmine already has issues with Danny and the drinking, which is fair, completely fair. But she's like, they're all kind of on alert because Nia then refuses to say he got so, because that, to be honest, that's the most normal thing to say. That would be the most normal thing for Nia to say. Yes, we know he's tired, but it would be so much more understandable to go, he got too excited to catch up. And now, oh my God, there's a spider on my ceiling. Hold on, I gotta go get it. Okay, so yeah, for Nia to say, he's just tired, like, he worked a lot and he drove last night. It's like, just say he had a lot to drink, trying to catch up with us, and dad of 3 over there could not handle it. That's why I pace myself, or whatever. But to just pretend it's not what happened is weird. Like, yeah, he's tired, for sure. Totally tired. But just by not saying the thing that's very obvious means that Nia has a hard time with it, and Danny isn't respecting her when it comes to that. And that's fucked up with Danny. And so Nia's trying to protect him, but he's putting her in a shitty position. Period. Janet whispers to Brittany at the table about him chugging tequila in the pantry. And now Brittany, because you see, Brittany was getting texts from Jax already at this dinner and was getting told, like, give me your phone, stop looking at your phone, stop texting him. And she's like, I don't know what it is, but I just can't ignore him yet. And I haven't been putting myself first in a long time and blah, 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 blah. And so I think she's embarrassed that everyone knows her shit. And so she's fully projecting because Nia, I mean, I guess I'll call it. It's a little tricky, this one, because it's the show aspect, So I was going to say Nia not saying what is really happening with Danny isn't like an attack on Brittany, but it's the show that they're filming. It's like, so I have to put myself out there because everybody knows my business and you get to, make whatever same money I make, maybe a little less because I think Brittany and Jax must have come in and Kristen must have come in making a little more. But still, like, you're getting paid to be on this show and you get this platform and you don't get to be honest. It feels unfair and we've seen it countless times. I'm going to say this about this whole situation. I don't think anyone's really doing anything wrong because everyone's like showing up the way they should. Like, if you're going to be on a reality show and you're going to see with your own eyes a couple not being honest about what's happening right in front of us, yeah, I guess it's fair to like throw a fit and be upset about it. And no one's like, well, maybe Janet. I think Janet has a self-righteousness to her that's a little bit annoying. Like, she's sort of the one who like deems whether things are acceptable or not. And she has that like tone to her. And I'm like, who died and made you queen of the world? You know what I mean? So that's the only thing. But yeah, Brittany's wrong. Brittany looks like a mess. But this has to do with show stuff, like fourth wall type things. Because if this weren't a show being documented, well, we wouldn't have an opinion on it that way. But if this wasn't a group of friends getting documented on a show, like, then maybe it'd be different. They can have that friend who doesn't say anything. And Nia and Danny are like newish to the group. Michelle and Jesse too, I believe, compared to the rest of them. So they're like the newer couple. And I think Jason said in the after show one time, maybe in a confessional, that the little time I've known Danny, he's gotten too drunk a lot. And I'm sure for them, they've had friends for like 15 years. So, a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5. But, clearly they were fine with Nia and Danny not talking about the drinking thing when it wasn't on camera. But now they're all getting paid to show their lives. And, you got Michelle and Jesse screaming at each other. And now Nia just being like, no, he just is like such a good dad and he's tired. And it's like, just say he's drunk. Because you not saying that makes it feel like you're hiding something, right? So I think everyone is like doing their part. Like Zach is being funny, trying to protect Nia. Kristen, drunk as hell, is being funny, trying to be like, who cares? Like really, like who cares? Just come here, have dinner. I don't understand the big deal. Jasmine, her energy is a little confusing to me, but she does have a personal connection to it. So, But before we even get into all of the fighting, they'd play the Valium-inspired game of Who's Your Hall Pass that Kristen comes up with. They're all pretty. Like Zach's Channing Tatum. That makes sense to me. Jason's is Lady Gaga. And I was like, say what? Okay. Luke, I could not respect Luke's answer more. Little Mermaid. And I think they shamed him a little bit too much for that answer. I think that was respectable, okay? It's a fantasy. It's not real. Jessica Rabbit totally would get that too, right? I get it. King Triton, hot. Hot. Yeah, there's some hottie. Prince Eric, was that Prince Eric? No. Who's the prince in Sleeping Beauty? He was a cutie. Yeah, like animated characters totally count. But then Nia. We don't actually have hall passes because we live in LA and we're actually friends with celebrities, so like we couldn't do that. Shut up. Shut up. And Danny was all weird about it because when he finds out that Nia ended up saying Jamie Fraser, he's like, well, I hope she meant me playing Jamie Fraser and not actual. Okay, chill out. And I'm glad the producer's like, it sounds like you're the one with more of the problem here. Okay. So yeah, it's weird. It's weird for sure. And also them not being able to even like participate in the witchcraft, not even witchcraft, in the ceremony the day before because they love God. I'm like, all right. Okay. I want to know who you voted for. Let me put it that way. I just would like to know that. So why does Nia then go to the sauna at this point? Like she gets up, she's like, I'm going to go sit in the sauna for 5 minutes. And then was Michelle go with her? I got really confused, but she really just was going to go check on Danny, probably. But meanwhile, back at the table, like Jasmine, Janet, and Britt are all mad about Michelle not admitting that Danny's drunk. And so Kristen and Luke try to defend, but that sets off Britt even more. Brittany's like, oh, so I have to share my life and everything I'm going through, but nobody else does? That's funny. That's fucking funny. And then she goes in and she's like, this is her confessional. I noticed them being fake all day. The phone fight in the car, the fight in the Uber, and then he just got tired from working. But Zach steals the show for me in every way here. So he pulls Nia aside. She's like, what did I miss? He's like, okay, so like Danny, like he's drunk, right? Like he's had a lot to drink, right? Okay. Like it's like they're just saying like, you don't like say that. And he's trying to be really careful, but almost as he's saying it, he's like, what am I doing? Like, why am I doing this? Because then he's immediately conflicted when she's upset. And he's like, okay, wait, hold on. Like, hold on, wait. And then she starts listening and she can hear them going off about her. So she just opens the door. But Zach like looks at the camera at one point and he's like, wait, like, oh my God. Okay, what did I do? He's like, what have I done? But then he sees the camera and he's like, there's no stopping it now. Like, there's no taking it back. In the after show, he's like, yeah, I thought I was doing a good thing, but like, I don't think I was. Because both Jasmine and Brittany were in there talking shit, like major shit. Brittany's like, we can't talk about how Danny's drunk. And Nia's like, he is drunk. But Nia was being weird for sure. But yeah, like Brittany, you're kind of like so wrong for this. Like you've been protecting Jax for years, right? I'm not comparing Danny to Jax by any means. But Nia's doing her version of what you've been doing for a while. And I hope that Brittany can understand that. I want to wait to I want to see how this scene plays out before I pass too much judgment on what's happening, because we come into these situations flawed people going through things. And I don't think that Brittany is handling it great. I don't. I think she's a little hypocritical. Don't make me take it back. Don't make me take back all the nice things I've said. But let me just see how it plays out, because she is going through a lot. Hold on, wait. I actually got to say something about the after show. In the after show, they get on the topic of Jax, and Lala's like, well, he's called her and texted her like 100 times just sitting here. So that's how it's going. And then she answers when he calls. And it's clear that this guy calls to update on what he's doing often. And she lets him, because he's like, why are you being cold to me? He's just like trying to tell her like, oh, I'm going through, this is what I did today and blah, blah, blah. She's like, okay, well, by the way, she goes, I have to film. I gotta film. And he's like, why are you being short with me? And then she's like, I'm not. He's like, why are you being mean? She's like, I'm not being mean. I have to film. Now, maybe she's just trying to keep the peace. But I'm like, at this point, Jax should not have a lot of access to you. Jax should not think he can keep calling you that many times and you'll eventually like come around. So I don't know how, I don't know. I was very, I am proud of her for leaving. And I don't know what it's like having to co-parent with him, and maybe she has to keep a certain level of like, I don't know. But she even says, she's like, it doesn't matter. It's like one day it's this, one day it's that. It's all over the place. It's a roller coaster. There's no predicting it. It's not easy. So I don't know. Anyway, Zach stole the show for me. He did. Zach stole the show. Okay, let me see what happened on Watch What Happens Live. Oh, okay. Jesse says that I did not spend all of our money, but then he goes, I do like to spend money, but I spend it on memories. We've done so many great things that are great memories for Isabella. I'm like, so what? So you have spent your money. It was like when he was like, Michelle wants to paint me as this absentee father who just sits my kid in front of an iPad with the nanny. Meanwhile, you're asking her to drop Isabella off with the nanny because she'll be out of town. So, sir. Danny has the craziest laugh. One of the poll results was a 65% say yes, they're being fake, him and Nia. And he's like, ha, 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 like he laughs all crazy. And Andy's like, no, they're saying that you're being fake. And he's like, well, wow. Ooh, you guys got some secrets. You guys have got some secrets. I don't think they're bad people, though. I don't want to go all the way there, especially not with Nia, because she seems like a sweetie, and she's the woman. So, but I don't. Danny's giving me vibes, weird vibes. So, let's see. Oh, Danny says that Janet would be the worst one to be married to. It's one of the games that they played, because she's a toxic person. Which I don't think that is I think that's no surprise now that Janet is about to cause some shit for Nia and Danny, for sure. And I think that's the other problem with Janet, is that she kind of like takes up after last season, Janet went on Sheena's podcast and they talked about how, because, she had a rough season. And if anyone knows about how that goes, it's Sheena. Sheena's like, they can't do 2 bad seasons in a row. So there's that's going for you. And they both mention Danny's drinking and how his drinking didn't come up on the show, but people will eventually see the drinking and it will come up on the show if we get a second season. They must have gotten picked up for a second season by then, because they were after the show doing interviews. So, but it almost seemed like Janet was like, oh, I will make sure it comes up on the show. And there's a bit of that, like she's on a mission to show that other people are bad too. It's not just me. I'm actually not the villain. I'm not the mean girl. But she takes too much joy. She seems to enjoy these things unraveling the way they do. And I don't love that. Okay, I don't love it. A lot more happened on the after show with Jax, but it's like, why are we... I don't want to keep going in circles listening to Jax. I'm going to go crazy. We already have him in first chair for the fucking reunion. Whoa, I sounded so mad. Sorry. Calm down. But it's like he's just going to sit at the damn reunion with the same I'm a work in progress type of shit. Like that loop he goes on as if he's changed. And Zach, when he was on Watch What Happens Live, was shameless when he was like, Jax is just as bad, if not worse, since getting out of rehab. I'm telling you guys, the only thing that's going to work for Jax is a full bottom. No show, no attention, nothing. No kid. Like Brittany's going to have to be like, you don't get to see your son. Because he doesn't, I wouldn't say he looks like he's still using, like he's still partying and doing coke a lot, because his face does look like it's a little less red, maybe. But in the after show, he's so like roided out looking. Like, I get that men can just get jacked, but there was just I don't know, like an aggression to it that felt a little unnatural. And it's aggressive. Like he still feels like angry, like he's not to be trusted. But okay, I just really hope Brittany doesn't go back to him. I don't know, the way she picked up the phone in the after show and talked to him, and I thought for sure she would be like, ignore, and he can keep calling, and I don't know. I got my eyes. We got to see how next week goes. We got to see how this fight shakes out. Yeah. All right, guys. I'm going to go. I'm going to get this out to you. I love you. I mean it. I'll see you next time. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to She's Speaking with Emily Hanks. This show is produced, hosted, and edited by me, Emily, and brought to you in partnership with Cloud 10 Media. If you are looking for bonus content, check out the Patreon. The link is in the description. To show some support, you can hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. Another free way to support the pod, please rate and/or review on whatever platform you listen. It's free, and it helps the algorithm or something. You can also head to buymeacoffee.com/shespeaks and buy me a coffee or two. Make sure you're following me on all social medias. I am She's Speaking with Emily Hanks across all platforms: Threads, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. That's it. Thank you guys. See you soon.